Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a huge layout share to show you. I went to a 5-day retreat in March, and the weekend before that I went to a normal weekend retreat that was 3 days, Friday to Sunday. And so at the first retreat, the shorter one, I printed off pictures for a bunch of layouts that were completed but didn't have photos on it because that seems to be the way I scrapbook. And then I also found and printed off photos for 40 base pages. And what a base page is I took sketches and collections, and then I just cut and adhered all the pattern paper to the 12 by 12 base, and then I took those 40 layouts to the 5-day retreat and embellished them and then added the photos. So I was able to get 37 of those done, and then I was able to find photos for 26 or 27 layouts that were previously completed. Some of them were quite old, so I will show you the layouts that I got photos on that were previously completed. So this is my stack of layouts that I had base pages for. I'll show you those in a sec. First I'm going to show you the ones that I found photos for. And it was really great to find photos for all of those because I had some of these in my stash for quite a while. And it was nice to finally get some photos on them, and then I will take them to another retreat and put them in an album. So this is the stack here. I figured out how to take my photos off of my laptop and then wirelessly put them onto my phone, which was huge because a lot of my older photos were on my computer, and they were photos that were digital photos, but they were before I had a smartphone. So that was a great thing that I was able to figure out. So that has always been my holdup, is finding good photos for my layouts. I find a lot of the photos on my phone are pictures of flowers or things I want to create, or I just don't have a lot of good photos on there. I also started keeping track of how many layouts I'm doing this year. Last year I did a rough count and I did 89 or 90 layouts for the year, which wasn't bad. So this year I want to break that goal. And so I unfortunately put the layouts that I did in January and February already in albums, but if I have time at some point, maybe I'll pull them and show them to you. But so January I was able to get 25 layouts done. February I only got 13 layouts done, but I think I was starting to do prep and stuff for the March retreat, so that was probably why. And then in March I did 37 layouts just at that one retreat there, the 5-day one. So I filled March, and then whatever was left over in a month I fill in the months that I haven't quite filled in. So because I did them in March, I filled in the rest of January in green. So so this is going to be great to have a record of. So I'll show you these layouts. This layout I believe I did last year. It's using I want to say an Echo Park travel line. And most of my layouts are based on sketches, and I believe most of the sketches are from Scrap-A-Sketch. I will put the link down below to that Facebook group. She has awesome sketches. So this is the first one here. So I just did some clusters, and this is an older photo of us, I believe in Coeur d'Alene. This one here I did in February at a retreat. I completed the whole layout there. I actually won the they do a draw every month at that retreat for the best layout or favorite layout. People vote on it that are at the retreat, and I actually won for this month. or for February, and this is using a bunch of stuff from 49 and Market. And I don't think I used a sketch. I think I just went, kind of did my own thing. I used some, I believe these are stencils and some rub-ons. Did a bunch of layering of the ephemera and some inking. And this is a photo taking of 3 of our boys many years ago. So this one here was a layout I did in, I believe, January, and I was able to find a photo for it. This is using a Hip Kit collection, and it was for a challenge at a retreat I was at. We had to use embossing folders, so I used embossing folders on a few of the circles. And this is a photo of my husband and I from several years ago. So this one here I think I did in January as well, and I didn't have a photo for it and was able to find one, some photos. This is again using a Hip Kit. I just realized I need to put a title on this one. And these are some older photos of my husband and my son with his little girl, our granddaughter. So it was great to use up some old photos as well, because she's 16 now. So, and then I used some washi along here. Just gonna see if my camera is zoomed out all the way. Yeah, it is, sorry. This one I believe I did in January as well. This is using another Hip Kit, I believe. And again, based on one of the Scrappa sketches, I believe. And so I just did some clusters and title down here. This was a layout I think I did last year. This is using a Paige Evans line. I want to say it's Bloom, but I might not be correct in that. And so these are some older photos of 2 of our boys, our 2 youngest boys. I think we just went out to Dairy Queen for a treat, and so I took some pictures of them. And yeah, I did some clusters and title, and I like how that one turned out. This was a layout I did in January. This is using, I think, that same Hip Kit as one of the other ones. Again, using a Scrappa sketch. Sorry, I couldn't find the sketch. I've got 3 clusters here. And then I used some dies from my stash. And this is a photo of us at Coeur d'Alene again. Not sure if it was the same holiday, but this was a layout I did in January using that same Christmas Hip Kit collection, and I was able to go onto my computer and find 3 older photos from a Christmas. And so this is one of our dogs. She's no longer with us, Trinity, and wearing some antlers, and then some pictures of 3 of our boys and my husband and I. Just did some clusters. This one was again another Scrappa sketch. I believe I did this layout last year and didn't have photos for it, and that's one thing a lot of people, they say to me, because I will post layouts and show that, you know, I found photos for them eventually, and I never seem to have a hard time finding photos that will match. And honestly, I'm not really fussy about if the colors don't totally match, but these definitely did with the pinks. So and there's some blues with her jeans and blues in the paper, so I was able to find photos, and if I can't, I will turn a photo to black and white. So I did some clustering, and these are pictures of that same granddaughter. We did a little party for her. This one is that same granddaughter, but when she was a baby. This layout I believe I did in January as well. And I used some washi here. I love this washi. I don't know who made this washi, but I'm going to be sad when it's gone. It's really pretty. And I thought these photos really fit the layout quite well. So this was another layout I did in January, and this is that same hip kit that I showed earlier. I just did some clusters here and one there as well. And a photo of my husband and our granddaughter. This layout I had done last year, and it was using the Chamel One of a Kind, I think was the collection. Anyways, I had the washi tape from it, and I just did strips of washi, and I love how that turned out. And I was going through photos. I have scrapbooked this photo before, but the yellows and purples I thought really went well with the washi, as there's yellow and purple in the washi and in some of the embellishments. So I think when I did this picture before, I think I turned it into black and white. So yeah, I thought that one turned out really good. This was a layout I did last year, again using that Echo Park travel line. Sorry, I can't remember the name of it. If you want to know the names of any of the collections, just ask me and I will try and find them. But these are some really old photos of my husband and I on one of our trips to Vegas. And so it was really fun to go through all those old photos and find some photos to use. So I did a cluster here, then one here, and one here as well. A little title there. And yeah, I like how that one turned out. This was a super old layout. This was from one of the first Crop and Create in-person events they did in Calgary. So that was before COVID. And I think she had more embellishments on the page, but at the time I kind of thought I would add the embellishments later, but I don't know what happened to all the embellishments. But I still like how it turned out. These are older pictures of my granddaughter, and can't even tell you what line this is. I want to say it's a Maggie Holmes line, but I'm not sure. So that was from a class. This was another class. I think this class was with Vicki Boutin and from Crop and Create as well. And we used a mixture of soap and like dish soap, paint, and water, and blue bubbles, and then kissed the paper to the bubbles that were in a cup and got this kind of effect on the paper, which turned out really nice. And I think this was using a pink paisley line. I think this is before she started doing her own paper lines, so this was quite a while ago. And these are just some family photos of my husband's grandma. She's no longer with us, and just doing some generational photos. And then this was the second page, so just more photos from that gathering. And as you can see, that's a really nice effect. I definitely would like to try that again. I think that turned out great. And so those are just some clusters. And yeah, this was another really old class from Crop and Create, one of the Crop and Creates. I see I'm missing an enamel dot there, and I think I've got it on my desk, so I'll add that later. But these are just some pictures of my son, our youngest, one of his birthdays, and I totally forgot, looking at these photos, how much he really liked Bionicles, and he got it and he couldn't wait to put it together. He was putting it together while he was eating his cake, so that was a fun memory to find. So it's a simple layout, but I like how it turned out. And this was a 2-page layout again from another Crop and Create class. I had used some really cheap adhesive, and this was all actually falling apart, so I had to glue it all back together. But this was from one of our stays at Kananaskis in a cabin, and so that's the first page. Just did a little bit of embellishing there, and then a few more pictures from that trip. You know, I don't know if the red really goes with these papers, but like I say, I'm not too fussy about how it matches. I think it still looks okay. And then this one here, I believe I did this layout last year. I need to add some twine to these tags. And I think I'm going to cut this down and add a mat of solid cardstock behind it. I think it needs some grounding. But this was an older photo of the 4 boys at Christmas time, and another Scrap a sketch. And this is using Vicki Boutin Christmas line that she had out a few years ago. This one I did some mixed media on, and I used another Vicki Boutin collection. I think this was Sweet Rush. And I did some stamping and some kissing with ink, and a whole bunch of my stamps. Then added some clusters, and then I found this photo of our granddaughter on her little ridey toy that we got her for her first birthday. I need to use my stamps more. I really do like the look of that. This one is using, I think this is a Vicki Boutin line, I'm not sure which one it is. And I'd done this layout, I think I had the base paper down last year, and then I finished embellishing it this year. And I was able to find this photo of my son. We went to an amusement park, and so I put that picture on there and did a bunch of clustering and layering of the embellishments. And then these right here, they look like ink splotches, but they're actually like a vellum sticker. And then this layout too, I think I'm going to add a cardstock background to it. But this is again using the Sweet Rush line from Vicki Boutin. And I did this layout, I believe, last year. And I was able to find this photo, and I mean, look how great that looks on there. So again, like, don't let that hold you up, because I was able to find photos, and this photo is from her first birthday. So, and then these were from a class I took with Bird's Nest Paperie. She does a yearly retreat, and this was a class we did at the retreat. And I've had this in my stash for probably 2 years, and I was finally found some photos for it. These photos are quite small, but it was kind of hard to find a good photo to fit a small template like that. But these are of us at Cypress, and I love her classes. She does lots of layering and distressing, and we used like a puzzle piece there and did some distress enamel glaze in the background there, and yeah, really nice. And then we took 2 papers and kind of Frankenstein them together, so that was fun. And then this is another page from that class. I guess this could be considered a double layout if you wanted it to be, or it could be 2 singles. But this one again is using some puzzle pieces. We folded this paper down and we punched it first, and then tucked some stuff in behind there, which was really fun. Did a bunch of layering with tickets and embellishments. Added some of this kind of drywall tape in the background and inked everything, and did some crackle paste on the flowers here. I love how that one turned out. And yeah, we did kind of cut out the little corner there where we tucked in this stuff. And this is an older picture of the kids at fall time. And then this was a 2-page layout. This was another class given by Bird's Nest Paperie, and we fussy cut out all these butterflies, and then we did some sort of treatment on them. I forget what we used, but some Tim Holtz thing, and I really love that. And added some glitter here. And this layout I've had for a few years, and I needed to add the glitter, and so I did that at one retreat, and then I was able to find a photo for it. This is of our oldest son's confirmation. Some gauze back there. And this is the second page. This is a photo we took at home before his confirmation or after, and then with his godmother, and then with my husband and I. And again, did a bunch of layers here with the torn paper and a doily and some wax on the wood chipboard piece there. So that is all the layouts that I had completed but didn't have photos on, and now I'm going to show you all the layouts I did at the retreat. And I can't remember whether or not I recorded, did a video of all the base pages. If I did, I will link that down below, but I'm really not sure if I did or not. But this is a great way to get a lot done, and I definitely am going to start doing this in the future and just make a bunch of base pages and then take them to retreats to finish them off. So this is using sketch 131 from Scrap-A-Sketch, and I need to find the right color of cardstock to mat this photo. I won't glue it on, but this is using a Hip Kit kit, and I have a bunch of these that I haven't used yet, so it was nice to grab a few that I hadn't used yet, and I just did some embellishing, and I like the way that turned out. This is based on that other one I showed you with the washi tape, and this is using a Paige Evans, her travel line that she did with American Crafts, and I will do that quite often. I will take layouts out of my albums, and because everything's already measured out for you, and I will do another layout using that as inspiration, but just use a different paper collection. And so yeah, I like how that one turned out. And this is all using this is what, like I say, a travel line, but you know, we're definitely not traveling in this picture. This is just a family photo of one of the last times all 4 boys were together at home, because they all live in different places. This one again is using that Paige Evans line, and this is a sketch 194, and this is actually pictures taken at Easter, but I was able to find enough embellishments in the collection to make it kind of look springish. So, and this is from a Easter long ago where they were coloring eggs. So this is another page from that Paige Evans collection, and this is this might be from a challenge because it doesn't have a number on this one, but that was the sketch, and this is the layout here. This is from our oldest son's birthday. I'm not sure how old he is in this one, maybe 20 maybe. I might find some other stickers to put birthday in a different font, but I just put happy there and then just did some clusters, and yeah, that one turned out nice. This sketch is number 173, and I liked it because it had this film strip in it, and I had a film strip die in my stash from Michael, so I was able to use that. I did the pictures different, but that was the sketch I used. And the die isn't this long. I just cut it, and I did ran the die through twice and just tucked it under the photo. And again, this is using that Paige Evans line. I did some washi here on this side, and I thought that turned out nice. This one was based on a layout I had in my stash that I had done, and again using that Paige Evans travel line, I did a little cluster there. These were some chipboard keys that came in one of their embellishment packs, and then I just I think it had the word motel there, so I covered it with Keep Exploring. Did a cluster up there, and this is one of our younger boys on a carousel ride, and in his scooter. He's disabled, so yeah. This one is sketch 147, and I liked how it was on an angle. I thought that was kind of cool. And I did some clusters here and then a title up there, and this was a fun day that we had at my husband's place of work. They rented a bouncy castle and had face painting and stuff, so the kids really liked that. Again, great to use some old photos that I kind of forgot about. So, and that's using the Paige Evans travel line again. This one is based on sketch 134, and this is using a hip kit kit, and I thought this sketch was really unique, and so I just printed off some 4x4 photos of our granddaughter. We would go to the States and buy her clothes, and then she would model them. So I had some pictures of different times where she modeled clothes, so I put those in there and just did some embellishing on each of the photos. I thought that turned out really nice. This one is another hip kit collection, and not sure, the sketches from Scrapbook Challenges, but I've had this sketch in my stash for a while. And then I just printed off some photos. I think these are maybe 4x4 photos. I think I cut them a little smaller. Then instead of doing a huge title here, I added a strip of paper there because it looked kind of bare. I used a punch for this here. And then I just did little clusters kind of in the same tones of the background paper, and thought that turned out fun. This was kind of more of a beachy themed paper line, and we don't really do beaches, but we were at a lake, so I thought it looked okay. We were actually in the mountains, not in a tropical area, but from the picture you can't tell that, so that worked out good. This video is getting kind of long, but I think I will stop it and do a second part. So please come back and check out the rest of my layouts. And if you're not already a subscriber, I would love to have you as one. And I want to thank you for watching. And I hope that you're finding some inspiration in these layouts. And let me know what you think of them. And be sure to give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. So stay tuned for part 2. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.